crew of the Mafia, the 161. What's happening, everybody? What is going on? Do a little roll call. We got Udall here. Fizzwiz, what's going on, man? What else we got? Hall of Highlights. My man, happy birthday again. Hope you enjoyed it. Toon Van der Weeld. Hi, what's happening, man? Aaron, Michael Maz is in the house. What's happening, gang? 3-team blockbuster that I love it. I can't wait, Michael Mazza. Who else we got here on the roll call? We got Hirsch in the house. Steven. Fizzwiz. Who else? Daily Dose is in the house, too. What's happening? But Tyler Talbot, my main man, is here. What's happening, people? What is happening? Got Squingili's in the house. Get better. What's happening, man? What's going on? We just hit the 7,000 subscriber threshold today. So I appreciate that, Fizzwiz. Thank you, all of you. Inside the strike zone. Beautiful. Is the name of your channel Inside the Strike Zone? Is that the name of it? Let me know what the name is. Manfred, Michael Mazza. I want to hear this 3-team trade. I'm actually working on a video that I'll put out this week for 3-team trades. So I have one coming out too, but I'm looking forward to seeing yours. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. The thing with Manfred too, and this is where my kind of anger goes both ways here, because it's partially obviously towards the players and the owners, but keeping in mind, this is one reason I get frustrated. Kyle, thank you, man. What's going on? Welcome, man. Good to see you too. One of the reasons why I get frustrated at Hal Steinbrenner is because, and all the other owners, because Manfred, he does their dirty work for them so that Hal Steinbrenner and them don't have to talk. So Cashman he's his mouthpiece, right? And then Manfred does the dirty work behind the scenes, the legal work, and negotiating and blah, blah, blah with the players in the union. So Hal Steinbrenner could just sit back, and so could the other owners, just sit back and just say, figure out a way to make us more money. And that's what Manfred does. And that's why he's universally kind of despised. Obviously, the dick move he pulled on Kent Rosenthal was not cool either. And so I didn't appreciate that. Rosenthal's one of the best in baseball. So, but he's going to be just fine, Rosenthal. So, but it's comical. It's really comical. So it really is. Johnny's in the house. So, it's funny because I was going to say today. So we talked about what we think the Yankees should do and, what are we thinking about? But I want to talk about, if you could predict 3 moves that the Yankees are going to make this offseason, what would they be? Give me your 3 moves in the lines. I'll give you mine and you give me yours. Let me know what you think. I'm still sticking with my Trevor Story at shortstop prediction. Ola's in the house there. Now it's a party, baby. Chris up. What's happening, man? I love it. Yeah, it's definitely MLB Network's loss, Jared. 100%. They screwed up. They're owned by MLB, so it's MLB's loss. But, MLB's a lot. It's a lot of just fluff stuff. And anyway, so, I'm glad that David Cohen's going to be on Sunday Night Baseball. Michael Kay and A-Rod are going to be on ESPN doing their little bromance thing. So it's good to see that stuff. And I like ESPN and Fox Sports and things like that as well. So, I do like MLB Network, but I liked it more when Ken Rosenthal was on it, because with him and John Heyman and Jeff Passan, those are the guys that give you the most updated breaking news, trades, free agency, winter meetings. It was those guys that broke everything every single year. So I do keep it on mind, just, in the back of my mind, or in the back of this, I listen to it in the background, but I will find another avenue. If they're going to keep screwing over people like this, it doesn't make any point. And I follow all these guys' Twitter as well. So, but, and I don't generally break stuff myself unless I get it verified by a couple different sources. So I don't like giving inaccurate breaking news. So, all right, Michael Maz has got a 3-teamer here. Pittsburgh gets Gleyber Torres, Estevan Florial, Trey Sweeney, Luis Medina, Hayden Wisniewski. Oakland gets Luke Voigt, Domingo Germán, Oswald Peraza, Clark Schmidt, and Gary Sanchez. Good Lord. What are the Yankees getting back? They just gave up, my God, they give up 10, 12 players? 12, 13 players? What are the Yankees getting back? That's a haul for both teams. My heavens. Olsen trade with the pitcher. Rodon, Suzuki, Correa, my predictions. Yeah, I'm similar. I think Olsen, I think it's going to be Story, and I think it's probably going to be Seiya Suzuki. Those are my 3. I would love if they can get Olsen without giving up Oswald Peraza. I'd be really happy with that. I would be. Ludin, what's happening, man? Joseph, what's going on? Gitmo's in the house too. Yeah, if there's any way they can get Olsen without giving up Oswald Peraza, I'd be pretty happy with that. All right, so the Yankees acquire Matt Olson, Frankie Montez, Sean Murphy, and then oh shit, Michael Mazza. That's a monster. Let me go back. They gave up Sweeney. They didn't give up Peraza. Oh, yes, they did give up Peraza. They didn't give up Volpe. They didn't give up Dominguez. They didn't give up Luis Hill either. And they get back all that stuff. I would do that 3-team trade. Michael, that's a beast of a 3-teamer, man. An absolute beast, man. Kudos to you on that one, bro. Kudos to you on that. That's a big trade. I mean, I don't know how doable it is, but I would do it. You know, we can dream, man. We can definitely dream. Should the Yankees trade for Jonathan India? I mean, if they could, I don't think the Reds are going to make him available, but if they did, they're going to have to move Torres and DJ. So, because India is the second base, he was the rookie of the year this year. Stud young player. He's an attractive player. I mean, I just don't know that they would ever make him available this soon. Pitching wise, I see another creative move. Sucks we didn't take advantage of our advantage and they want to try to be the smartest kid. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there, Ludin. I do think they're going to sign. I think they're going to sign one pitcher in free agency and one in a trade. I think there's going to be 2. I just don't know. There's a lot of options, ways to go in a trade. I think they're going to wind up trading for somebody that we're not even thinking of. That's what I think. And it's going to be like a young, dynamic player or something. But that's where I think, I mean, like I said, I think we're going to be disappointed on one side and then pleasantly surprised on the other side. Both, a combination of 2. That's the way I think it's going to be, honestly. Can owners talk about trades? They can't negotiate with other owners or GMs can't negotiate. And I'm sure they're talking behind the scenes now. Just not in a way that can be documented or found out. I'm guessing they could. I really am. So, but who knows? I mean, I don't see them just not doing anything. I can see the Mets getting Schwarber. I can see the Yankees potentially getting him too. If they can't get Rizzo, they can't get Olsen. He's an option too. He's a big power bat. So Robbie Ray, I agree, Tyler, 100%. Dude, Fizzwiz, thank you so much for that super chat, bro. I appreciate that. That's a monster right there. $20 super chat, man. Thank you, buddy. I feel like we're going to get a 4 players, a pitcher, Trevor Story, Suzuki, and Olsen. The reason why I can also including Olsen is because everyone is predicting Olsen going to the Yankees. I'm with you on Olsen. I think at the end of the day, he's going to come here. Now, whether it's him alone or him and a pitcher in a trade, I still think we're going to get Olsen. I don't think they're going to get Matt Chapman. I just think that's a little far-fetched. If they did, it has to be for third base and not shortstop. And in that case, obviously, they'd be moving Gio somewhere. But, if there's any possible way they can get Olsen or Olsen and somebody else without giving up Oswald Peraza, I'd love it. I just don't think so. Is Cole done in New York? No. He's not done in New York. He's got 7 more years. And he has an opt-out, but it's not until after 3 more seasons. My guess is it'll be something like a CC Sabathia scenario where they added 2 years to his contract. He had an opt-out. He never said he was going to exercise it, but there was rumblings that he might, and that I'm guessing the rumble is going to be the same about Cole, that he might exercise it, and I think the Yankees will tack on 2 more years on the back end of it, sweeten the pot to keep him here. But they have to surround him with a better rotation and just a better team. Otherwise, he will be incentivized to leave. So, but I see Cole staying. I hope he wins a championship here. I hope he wins a Cy Young, and I hope he throws a no-hitter. And I really, really do. But again, thank you so much for that, Don. I really appreciate you, man. You're the man. And Happy New Year to you too, man. Let me go back here a little bit. DJ Archer. I think Archer's old news at this point, Peter. I really do. Fizz was you the man, dude. Absolute beast. DJ's plays second now. Yeah, DJ's he's better at second. We need somebody like Correa would be a guy to go to third. I mean, if they sign Correa, they sign Correa. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. And if they do sign him, he's got to play short. And then at some point move to third, I think, when Volpe's ready. So Volpe can play short. But if you can get, Correa and Volpe in the same lineup, that'd be phenomenal. And if there's any way you can get Correa, Volpe, and Olsen in that same lap, I mean, now we're talking big time setup for the next decade. Really, really are. That's a monster. So again, I'm not predicting Correa, but if they get him, he's gonna. I'm sure he's gonna play just fine here. So, and I'd rather see him here than the Red Sox or somewhere else. So, Mets getting Eddie Rosario, possibly. I could see the Yankees getting him too. Mets fans, I could. He's a dynamic outfield. He plays multiple positions. He's a good defender. He's a clutch hitter. He's got speed. So he'd be a good role player for either the Mets or the Yankees. And I don't think the Mets are done making moves. They're going to make one or two more moves at least, I think. I think a Story, Michael, it takes a short-term deal. It'll probably be like 1 or 2 years at like buku dollars, $35 million or something like that. But if somebody, I have a feeling somebody's going to offer him 5-6 years and he'll run with that. So I do. And but he seems to be the only guy that we're hearing is willing to take some kind of short-term deal. But I just don't know if that's going to happen. I would take him a short-termer. I would. Lorenzo, Yankees trade with San Diego, acquire Manny, Hosmer, Austin Nola, and one of their starters. Damn. For what, Lorenzo? For what? Hopefully they're adding some contract in return because Hosmer's he's got a 3-year, $60 million left on his deal. It's a pretty onerous deal, and he's definitely on the wrong side of it. Who do you have him sending back to them, Lorenzo? Because that's a big. And which starter are you talking about? Which starter do you think they might be part of that trade? That's a monster trade, man. That's a huge trade. Could the Mets sign Marwin Gonzalez? Yeah, they could. To a minor league deal, they could, sure. They can sign anybody they want right now to minor league deals. Can't sign them to major league deals. So Rodon, Suzuki, Trevor Story, and Rizzo. That'd be a hell of an offseason too, Sean. I mean, it really would. I mean, I would not be unhappy if they got Rizzo. Olsen's my first pick personally for first base because he's 5 years younger, and I think he's going to be a long-term building block here. But Rizzo was fine. He was solid here. And he does have an elite glove still. So I'd be fine if they got Rizzo. And you get Story there, who's still a great defensive player. He's versatile, can play more than one position in the infield. So that means he won't be blocking guys like Volpe, and he won't be blocking Oswald Peraza either. And in this case, if Rizzo, then you're not trading for Olsen. You're probably keeping Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, guys like that. So it gives them more options. And Rodon's in free agency, Seiya Suzuki. I mean, none of these guys are going to require any. I mean, Rodon did not get a qualifying offer. So Suzuki's a straight-up free agent. Story, I think, did get a qualifying offer, though, so they have to give up something for him. They're also projected to sign the number 1 international draft pick, Roderick Arias. I mentioned him a while back on a couple other videos. Next Saturday is the signing day, so he's the number one international prospect. So, and I think Hall of Highlights actually did a video about him today, so go take a look at that. He'll give you some insight on him as well. Cashman's shown no interest. That's one of the problems, Gitmo Bob. I think it's, if he's going to trade for a young pitcher, or if he's going to get a young pitcher, it's got to be for a trade because there's no really young pitchers that are available via free agents. They never get there. That's one of the problems right now that they're having with this lockout because the union wants these players to get the free agency sooner because it's a 6-year window. Once they come up, there's 3 years of pre-arb, and then there's 3 years of arb before they can hit free agency. So, and most of them are hitting free agency 26, 27, 28. Depends on when they're up here officially. So, and not many of the pitchers get up here at like 19 or 20. They're up here a little bit later than that. That's why a lot of them get to free agency so much later. Like I see a lot of these guys that get these big deals in free agency. I mean, they're like Bryce Harper was 25, like Manny was 25. It's guys like this that are Correa is 27. Like these guys are generally hitting free agency. The offensive players are hitting free agency sooner because they're more productive offensively at the major league level at the younger age than the younger pitchers are. I mean, the last young guy that was really dominant was like Dwight Gooden. There's a couple of them, but not a ton of them. So it's more the offensive guys. No. Tell him, Jared. Tell him, man. Yeah, the other problem with the lockout is like, and I mentioned this, they're talking about the possibility of it going a little bit deeper and delaying the season or spring training or both. And I've said this, if you're going to delay something, delay the season and not spring training. Spring training is their wind up. It's their build up to a 160-game season. And if you delay spring training like they did in 2020, guys get hurt, right? and guys get injuries, Tommy John, stuff like that. So I would rather have a full spring training and a shortened season than the other way around. But I'm hoping neither one happens. But I don't know. The video I talked about, I put out earlier, is February 1st is a key date for them. And the union is waiting for MLB's proposals. Apparently they have a couple of proposals they're working on, and they're not going to do anything until they get these proposals. And I don't know what they've been doing because they haven't met since December 7th. And that meeting didn't even last 8 minutes. So you can tell, it's obvious that they're way far apart from each other. So, they're going to have to compromise on both sides. Both sides are going to have to feel like they're giving up something to get something. And I said, it's just like, like a trade. If the Yankees want Matt Olson, it's going to hurt. They want Brian Reynolds, it's going to hurt. But that's the price of a superstar. It's the same thing here with these negotiations. Both sides are going to have to give up something. And my guess is, this time the owners are probably going to have to give up a little more than the players union did. So the union's kind of dug in. They felt like they've lost the last two CBAs. So they're definitely, holding this one out until they get what they want, or at least a little closer to what they want. So that's my take on that. But it's definitely contentious, man. It's definitely contentious, man. Mateo83, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Salute, Sacramento, California. Beautiful. I went to the 2000 Olympic trials in track and field in Sacramento. And then I drove up to Lake Tahoe and jumped in that bad boy. And that was, God, it was cold. Oh, my God. But Sacramento's pretty cool. Imagine DJ Judge, Olsen, Stanton, Gallo, pitcher nightmare. Yeah, absolute pitcher nightmare. And then let's say you add Correa to that. You add, something like that. And like ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. They make a trade for Olsen, going to get a second player in the trade. It's more important to go for a catch. And I mentioned Tyler Soderstrom. He's a top Oakland A catching prospect, and he's behind Sean Murphy. If you can't get Murphy, try to get Soderstrom. Try to get some young catching depth in the system. They brought in some guys on minor league contracts over the last month, but they're all older, except the one guy is 23. But they need more youth on the catching pipeline. So they really do. Inside Strike saying, yeah, the Cole train, baby. That's right, man. I'm forever on the Cole train. And my favorite, one of my favorite Yankee pitchers of all time. I love David Wells. I love Roger Clemens when he was here. Pettit, loved him. Tanaka, I loved him. I actually met Roger Clemens in the urinals in a Broadway show. He's standing next to me, peeing next to me in the urinal. The coolest thing ever. I don't know why, but he was peeing next to the dude. And he's a giant too. He's huge. Nice guy though. But I'm really rooting for Garrett Cole. I hope he wins a title here. I hope he wins a Cy Young. He's gonna be. I'm not really worried about Cole. I'm not worried about him. He's money. He's money. So, he had an injury the second half of the season. Comes back healthy. I'm not really worried about him. They need to put some more capable guys and more reliable guys behind him, so he's not having to shoulder the load again. So. We don't know yet, Gitmo Bob. Hoping it won't be the waste. But generally, they give big contracts hoping to get, 2/3 productivity and a ring out of these contracts. Because a 9-year deal for a pitcher is not, it's not an ideal. It's never been an ideal. I don't know what a pitcher who's gotten a 9-year deal. So it's generally 5 or 6 that people are hesitant with that. But they had to do that to get Cole. They had to do it. So he's going to be their long-term guy. And he was 28 when he did it. So I get it, and again, he's going to be their ace for a while. I'm not worried about him. Yankees mentality needs to be building around Cole, Judge. Yeah, those are the three big building blocks. They're going to lock up Judge now, and if they don't, they got to trade him for a haul. But now's the time to lock him up in a long-term deal. And and that's the thing. Exactly. You got to bring in the right players to surround some of the superstars, chemistry, some leaders on the team. And they do need a good cohesive unit here. And they haven't really had that. That's why I liked Odor, because he brought some of that personality, brought some of that chemistry to the team. Tyler Wade did the same thing as some of these other guys. That's what guys like Nick Swisher and Jason Giambi, guys like that, brought that to the team. And it made it a closer knit unit. So they need guys like that. They really do. That's why I like Stanton so much. He's a quiet leader, but he still does it. But we need a vocal leader too. And Cole is like that on the pitching side. And we just need somebody like that on the offensive side. So, Inside strikes. So Olsen, Story, and a bag of M&Ms. Yeah, maybe. Manuel's in the house. Olsen and starting pitcher should be yeah. I mean, if you can get Olsen and Frankie Montez, that would be a big trade here. That'd be a big trade. Bassett's more the inning eater. Manea's got 1 year left, but Montez is the guy if you can get him. With Olsen, again, it was going to cost a bit, but that's okay. Those are the types of trades you give up a lot of capital for. So, and this guy, Roderick Arias, already, he's 16 years old, the one he's supposed to sign next Saturday. He's projected to come in and be the Yankees' number 5 prospect right off the bat. He's 16, and he's going to be their number 5 prospect. He's a shortstop, so it adds to that middle of the infield pipeline, and he's pushing Trey Sweeney down because Sweeney, I think, is 5 or 6 right now. So, Peraza, sign Suzuki, trade Torres, and void for pitchers. I mean, if you could trade Torres and void for pitchers, or if you could trade Torres as part of a package for Olsen rather than Peraza, I would do that. Honestly, because then you can plug. You already have the second baseman there in DJ LeMahieu. So that's the way I would do it. I really hope they keep Oswald Peraza and give him a shot. So watching David Wells' perfect game. And what a wonderful game. I was at David Cohn's perfect game. That was freaking awesome. David Wells' perfect game. I had the tickets. I gave them up that day. And I missed that game. I couldn't believe it. That would have been really cool to see, too. That was a great game against the Twins. Really a great game. Chance of the Mets actually franchise in the house, putting it together this year and finishing top 2 in the division. I think is a good chance franchise. I think the Phillies are going to make a move or two, but I think the Mets have done enough to, at the very least, get better. A decent amount. Do I think they're going to overtake everything? No, not yet. But they're definitely trying to. So I give them credit for that. Trades for Wilson Contreras, sign Rosario, and a bullpen arm, and boom, we're contenders again. Couldn't be more simple. Well, what about starting pitching? What about starting pitching, Emmanuel? Would you bring in any starters? I think a bullpen arm would be helpful too. Nelly's in the house. What's up? Yankee fan base would love to see Peraza. I would love to see him get a chance. He's got an elite glove. It projects higher than most of the major league shortstops already. He's got a solid bat, good contact hitter, fearless. And again, he's coming through the system, having already learned from Dylan Lawson and being part of that pipeline. So I think he'd be having a couple of guys who are familiar with the new offensive philosophy would be a good thing here. Really, really be a good thing. And this gives an opportunity for some of the veterans to learn from some of the younger guys too. It's not always the other way around. Infield of Gio, Peraza, DJ, and Rizzo. That'd be a solid infield, Sean. Would be solid. We Can Dream makes opposed trades, offers, and thoughts, but Hal can have an issue in the house, a sin with unlimited funds. He does. He's got unlimited funds, man. He just has to. It's got to be aggressive, man. And again, I know they're making money hand over foot, but the most profitable thing to do in New York is to put the guys together to win the World Series. There's nothing more profitable for the Yankees than winning the World Series in New York. Nothing. Revenues go through the roof. As you said, talking about catchers in the Yankees other than Sean Murphy. I had mentioned Mitch Garver, Minnesota. Somebody mentioned Mitch Garver and Max Kepler the other day. Garver, seems like a solid option, Michael. There's a couple people proposing Garver and Max Kepler trades now with the need of an outfielder and a catcher. So, if you can't get Sean Murphy's my first trade option. I mentioned other guys too, MJ Melendez. I think these are gettable guys. Tyler, from the A's might be a little bit easier to get than Sean Murphy, but he's not major league ready yet. So MJ Melendez is blocked by Salvador Perez. Garver's a possibility too. I think everybody, there's a lot of guys are going to be an upgrade over Sanchez. Inside the strike zone, Olsen, Story, and a bag of M&Ms. I repeated it, dude. I read it. Bag of M&Ms is pretty funny, dude. Hot take, correct. That was my prediction inside the strike zone. When I did my MLB free agent predictions video, I predicted Correa to the Phillies. I'm not really budging from that yet because I still think it's possible. I remember Moose is near perfect. Yeah, I was in Boston. He lost it with 2 outs in the 9th, I think, to Carl Everett, maybe. Hit a cheap base hit in the outfield. He was 1 out away in Fenway from that perfect game. I remember that game. I watched that game, the whole thing, Sean. I would have loved him. I liked him too with the Yankees. I'm glad he made the Hall of Fame. He's a great pitcher. I like Mike Mussina. Stanford graduated from Stanford in 3 years. Very smart guy, too. Aaron Sanchez. He went over to Houston, Luden. I don't know where he is now. Aaron Sanchez. He was another guy in Houston. When they loaded up on pitchers, he was one of them. Go roll with some prospects to start and get someone at the deadline cheaper. But I'm with you. I think we need a few. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Emmanuel. I'm with you there. I don't do fantasy baseball. I've never done it before, but I'm thinking about it. I mean, just don't know if I have the time to do it, but I'm thinking about it. Trade for Sonny Gray, Red City's available. Tapar, I would sign. Manuel, I would go after Luis Castillo over Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray didn't pan out well here the first time he was here, unfortunately. So I would definitely go after Luis Castillo, though, from Cincinnati. I think he's better. I think Sonny's a better fit in the National League on a smaller market. I really do. See Yankees getting a starter or a reliever. I do, too. Shortstop, center field, and a first base. They get all that, Michael. I mean, they'd be upgraded nicely. It was against Boston, Billy. Yeah, 1 out. There was 1 out left in the 9th inning, and he lost it. And I do think it was Carl Everett who broke it up. But Michael, yeah, Mazzo, I'm with you, man. We do need those guys. Kepler's another outfielder. Yeah. Went from Minnesota. I know people trying to package Kepler with Garver. Yankees should go after. Dude. Marcel, thank you so much, man. What on and off the field changes do you think MLB needs to institute to regain status as the national pastime or closer to national standing to NFL? I think they need to be more player friendly at this point. I mean, it's clear they're catering to the owners right now a little bit too much, Marcel. And we need somebody who's, the reason why I'll get to the other dono too as well. But Roger Goodell, he's universally hated, but he embraces the hate. And he still does things to make the game exciting. Manfred hasn't done that. They're always trying to get international appeal, but he's a lawyer and he just doesn't have that personality as much as some of the other, some of these other commissioners. Plus, I'd like to hear from team owners on occasion. Like Steve Cohen, you hear from him. I like to hear from the Yankee team owners, the Dodgers owners. Like, when the hell do we talk? When do these guys talk? Like, we need to hear some of the voices from the people at the top. And again, give the young kids an opportunity to play. I mean, the rosters are getting younger. Give them more opportunities and pay the young kids, Marcel. And those things right there, I think that would kind of get them back. Get rid of the second base extra inning rule or change it. If make it equitable for everybody. Like, make the teams that get the sharing revenue, utilize that on players so that they're getting better players as well. Maybe institute an international draft combined with the regular draft. I think that would be more exciting the way NBA does it. NFL, I mean, they only have a 7-round draft, but I think if baseball combines international players, I think that would be pretty fascinating too. I really do. So that's kind of the things that I would do, Marcel. What would you do? And on the field, I would get rid of the extra inning second base rule for now, or tinker with it. I would definitely not be doing no robot umpires. Hell no. But that's generally what I can think of right now. I was at Abbott's no-hitter, Jared. I was sitting behind home plate with my mom. I was at that game against the Cleveland Indians. Would I take a flyer on Jack Flaherty, St. Louis, value down? Yeah, maybe, Michael. Maybe. Well, the other thing too, Marcel, I would stop the over-reliance on too much analytical stuff. That's the other thing. Let these kids play. Let them play. It's becoming too much of a statistical, actuarial type game, and I think they need to go back to some old school baseball. Fizzwiz, thank you so much again, bro. I feel like the extended playoffs happen. We are going to not going to spend, but if it gets denied, we'll spend a lot. I'm kind of with you on that one, Fizzwiz. I do agree. I don't know how I feel about the extended playoffs, to be honest with you. I mean, I still think we're getting used to this other one with the second wild card, and I think there's some other changes that will be better first before the extended playoffs. Getting the young kids to free agency sooner, and I have a something that I've said which would never get approved by the union, but it's a team opt out. So if you sign somebody with a 10-year deal and they just stink up the bed and it's a monster deal, the team should have the opportunity to opt out halfway into the contract. Just like players can opt out and go get a bigger deal from that team, or whatever, or get a couple extra years, I think a team should have an opt-out every 5 years that they could utilize. So that they're not just sitting there wasting tens of millions of dollars on somebody who's either hurt or not playing at all. That's where you can tie it into performance to a certain degree. So, and again, it's probably controversial. The union they would never, never go for it. But if you want to, make it performance based, I think that's the way to do it. And then again, you want to hold the owners accountable, hold the players accountable too. It's only fair. It's only fair. And again, that frees up money for a team to get somebody else, give another kid an opportunity, So that's that's the way I would utilize it. But what would you guys do? What would you guys do? Thank you again, Fizzwiz and Marcel. I appreciate you both. Hal's not George. Well, yeah, George. I mean, George. He said it, man. Like this is a tradition. He wants to protect. He wants to embrace. He wants to grow. And the fact is, he did those things, and he bought them for $10 million and turned them to $4 billion. So by embracing his philosophy, it became more profitable by 1,000-fold. Like, you can do that, especially if the Yankees, man, you show that you love this team and you invest in the players. You go get the guys because you want to win. You make it known that you want to win, right? And that's why guys like Theo Epstein were successful and are beloved, and George Steinbrenner is beloved because they made it clear that they wanted to win. Steve Cohen right now getting a lot of love because he makes it clear he wants to win. He's not afraid to spend the money to do it. So you have so many billionaire owners who are not doing this. They're just pocketing profits. And that's one of the reasons I get upset at the Steinbrenners because, they're just not making it easy for us to like them, man, at all. Love the Yankees, but what are the Steinbrenners doing? Come on, guys. Come on. Why'd you bring Garrett Cole here if you're not going to surround him with players? Why'd you trade for Stan if you're not going to surround him with guys? Why do you have these superstars here if you're not going to put him in a position to win the championship? Ron's in the house. Carlos Rodon, I mean, at this point, Billy Branch, he's a logical number 2. So I'm with you there. I think they need to get him. And I also think they need to trade for another starter too. 2 starters, I think, is imperative this offseason. And Rodon, you could probably get him on a 3 or 4 year deal. And that's why having some long relief guys would make a lot of sense too. It really does, having long relief guys to help bridge from the starters to the short relief guys. I actually did, Michael Maz, I actually did a trade proposal with Castillo and Amir Garrett. If you're going to get the starter, you try to get the reliever too. 100%. 100%. If you can get both of them, that's a hell of a trade. You're going to have to give up a bunch, but that's what you do. That's what you do. Well, General, I mean, he was injured the last half of the year. So, and he still played. And that's why, guys like that, that's why I like guys like that because he was still willing to play when he was hurt, and, he still has a career 2.8 ERA in the postseason. And even he was 16-8 runner-up in the Cy Young with a bad second half of the season. So I'll take that every day of the week. So he didn't really blow it. He was hurt. And I have no doubt that he's going to come back stronger than ever, Garrett Cole. I'm not really worried about General. Did it suck that he had a bad second half? Yeah, it did. But then so did Nestor Cortez. He gassed out too. So, and there are other guys who didn't show up in the postseason either. It's not only Cole, but I know he's the big money guy. So he's going to be, he's going to take it like that. Mike Mussina did make the Hall of Fame, Udall. He made it a couple years ago, which is awesome. What we got here? Good take. Carl Lever. Yeah, Carl Lever. I can't stand Carl Lever. He was such a D-bag. But he's the guy that broke up the perfect game. So I hate when that happens where you have guys like that break up something special. It's just I would have been happier if it was somebody like, Ortiz or somebody like that. But no, Carl Everett, I mean, come on. It'd be like somebody like Albert Bell doing it too. It's just, yeah. So I totally get that, man. Carson Kelly and Marte from Arizona is a better combo than Kepler or Garver. I would go for Kelly and Marte as well. I actually made a proposal for. Well, I did a proposal for Kelly and Zach Gallen. I also did one with Ketel Marte. I'd be fine with that. Luden, Marquez, and Blackman 1 to 10. Marquez, we could probably. Well, Blackman, is he a free agent? Blackman, I mean, Blackman's older. He's a solid player, but I'm not picking him over, like, say, a Suzuki or Brian Reynolds. There isn't a chance in the world I'm picking him over those two guys. Marquez could be a solid number 2. He probably cost a bit, too. I think he's got 2 or 3 more seasons of control, so I wouldn't mind him at all. I mean, I would trade for Marquez and try to get Daniel Bard with him. I'd be with that over Marquez and Blackman. Again, Blackman, I think he has 1 more year left, but it's a huge contract, and he's much older. We got to get some youth and athleticism here. At that point, I'd play Esteban Florial as one of the backup outfielders. But Marquez, Luden, I'd be after. Players aren't free soon. What do they want to give up? Well, that's the thing. Limit contracts to 5 years. They're going to have to give up something, Gitmo. You're absolutely right. I don't know whether it's limited contracts or small. They want the threshold level, which is 210 right now for a luxury tax penalty, to go up to 245. They're going to have to give way there. They're going to have to maybe meet halfway, 230, something like that. And they're going to have to compromise if they want, to get the free agency sooner. And I'm all for players getting paid, especially the really good ones. So I don't have a problem with that. But they are going to have to give up something. They're going to have to compromise, and that's something. I mean, I would compromise. I would give up that to get them the free agency sooner. Yeah, absolutely. Major changes in the rotation franchise. Yes, sir, 100%. If there's an expanded playoffs, yeah, but that's why I've been a proponent of a 6-man rotation for a while, or at the very least, reliable guys who can either spot start or be long relief with an expanded playoff. So we don't have a good enough rotation to compete with the playoffs. No, you're right. It is a big fall off the call. That's why I'm a proponent. If they can get if they get a Rodon and a Luis Castillo, I'd be much more comfortable with the Yankees rotation. Much more comfortable. Hall of highlights. Favorite current Yankee? Offensive, Stanton. Pitching, Cole. Did I see your 3-team trade, Tyler? Shoot, did I miss it? I might have missed it. I apologize. What's your 3-team trade, Tyler? I'm going to go back and see if I can find it. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. Yankees get Jose Ramirez, Olsen, and Montez. Cleveland gets Clark Schmidt, Torres, Voit, Lou, Turvio, Davey, Brent, Honeywell, Ace, Florian, Medina, Peraza, Vasquez, Bonilla, Vasquez. Is that enough to Cleveland for Ramirez? I mean, I don't have an issue giving up those guys right there. Especially if you can get Jose Ramirez and Olsen. I think I would do that, Tyler. I mean, if you can get those two guys, I mean, you're in such a different position. And I mean, and you give up depth. Obviously, you have to give us some quality and depth. So I don't have an issue with that trade. And again, you have a lot of guys that they're probably not going to use. So, and that's the other thing too. So you might as well. I mean, again, if you can get Ramirez and Olsen here, that changes the whole entire offensive structure. It changes the whole lineup. Changes the roster too. So I like that one. I like that one, Tyler. I like it, man. I like it. What else we got here? Sick of losing. Oh, so am I. I'm sick of losing to Tampa too. George gets a lot of credit for a lot of the moves he made. Yeah, I mean, it took him a while to really turn the Yankees around. He got him in the 70s. They stunk in the 80s for the most part. So he went through that part, but then he slowly started putting together a team. And, but he invested in his team when they were good and when they were bad. I got to give him that, man. Invested in his product. And he got a return on investment like nothing I've ever seen, man. Best Monty has 4 on 29 other teams, and number 4. Yeah, so I mean, Monty, big boy. I mean, Monty's a 3 or a 4 here too. Stanton bombing in Fenway General. You mean hitting those bombs, those balls out of the stadium? I mean, that was epic. He was money at the end of the season. Absolute money. Danny Duffy could. Yeah, I mean, he could be. He's with the Dodgers. Well, he went with the Dodgers. They traded for him. I don't know if he has any years left. I'm not sure if he's a free agent. I don't remember. I mean, he could be a long relief guy. Could be. I know he had some injuries when they traded him to to the Dodgers. I'm not exactly sure if he's healthy either. Danny Duffy. Non-athletic. That's what I mean. Like, you get a guy like Brian Reynolds, you get some of these young dynamic guys. You let kids like Oswald Peraza play. You're getting an injection of youth and athleticism here in the lineup, and that's why I hope they do that. I mean, I really, really do. That's why. I mean, if they do bring in Carlos Correa, he brings those things, right? Trevor Story's a little bit older, but he won't require that long of a commitment. But again, if they bring in Correa, they bring in Correa. As long as Volpe is still part of this equation, I'm happy. And if Peraza is still here and they get Olsen, I mean, that's a whole new world in Yankee land. I mean, that would definitely be the Evil Empire stuff right there. I mean, but I would be, I'd be all over that. Oh, yeah, guys, if you don't mind, you can get that like button. I want to get those likes up. I want to try to get them towards 100 again if you can. I appreciate it. How much would the Yankees have to give up for Zach Gallen, Carson Kelly, and K-Tel? You're going to have to give up probably Dominguez. You're going to have to give up probably Peraza. You have to give up Luis Hill. You'll have to give up and a little bit more, Michael. It's a big haul. They'll have to give up a really big haul for those three. That's my guess, Michael Mazza. Moose best year, yeah, man. He won 20 games his final year, the 2003, right? When the Marlins beat them in the World Series. That's when the Aaron Boone infamous home run. Used Torres, and I think he actually pitched in Game 7. Clemens started, and then he came into relief before Rivera came in. I think it was Clemens, then Moose, then Rivera, if I'm not mistaken. Something to that effect. Torres, Voit, and Sanchez for trade bait. Yeah, I have no problem using those guys, Sean. Really, Joey Bell, yeah, man. Marte and Kelly, hell yes. It's Gallen and Kelly I'm fine with too. I really am. Am I being too paranoid that Cole and Chapman seemed to forget how to pitch last year? Cole was fine until he got hurt. Chapman, again, he's like the pitching version of Sanchez. When he's on, he's unstoppable. When he's off, he's completely lost. So, and that's the frustrating part about Aroldis Chapman. Cole was fine. Look at his stats: 16, he got 240 something strikeouts with just like a 3.2 ERA. He was fine. And again, had he not got hurt, I mean, I think he would have won the Cy Young hands down over Robbie Ray. Stanton, I mean, he fights through these injuries. Plus, he answers all the hard questions. He came here. He's never dodged reporter. He's always been honest with everybody. He's taken the heat. He's embraced it, and he's still come back. And he's money in the postseason. That's one reason I like the guy so much. And he stood up for his teammates against when they were playing the Mets. And when he hit that home run, he stood up to Lindor and them after they were trash talking the Yankees. So that's the type of stuff. CC Sabathia used to do that. Stand up for his teammates. And those are the type of guys I like. And Stanton did that. So I respect that. I really do. Smaller home plate. More hits and runs. I don't know. I mean, obviously you'd be tightening the strike zone, but I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's going to change drastically the way pitchers pitch because they wouldn't make a drastic change. At least I don't think they would if they change home plate. No, he didn't miss two Worlds. In 2001, they lost to the Diamondbacks. In 2003 is when Aaron Boone hit the home run and put him in the World Series. They lost to the Marlins. 2009, they beat the Phillies. So if I remember correctly, his last year was 2003. I'm almost positive, but I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. I'm going to look that up right now because I'm really curious myself. I think, let's see here. Mike Mussina. Okay. So Mike Mussina, stats. He pitched from 1991 to 2008. So you're right about 2008. 2003, I was off. But he did he came here in 2001, the year after they won the World Series. So, yeah, 2001 they lost, 2003 they lost. So he missed rings. And 2008 was his last season. In 2009, obviously they won the World Series. And yeah, 2001 they lost to the Diamondbacks. That would have been their 4th consecutive World Series. Yeah, he went to the Hall of Fame at 270 wins, 3.68 ERA. He had 2,813 strikeouts, and he was a good pitcher. He's a really good pitcher. He averaged in 8 years with the Yankees. He had 123 wins and 72 losses. So he was solid with 3.88 ERA. He was solid with the Yankees. He really, really was. And he's a good teammate, a good crafty pitcher. He helped with the younger kids. So you're right about 2008. If Kershaw checks out medically, yeah, maybe Chris. I just don't know. I worry about his transition to the American League. If he's going to come to the American League, my guess is he'll probably be with Texas, because he's from native Texan, and Houston, and the Texas Rangers are spending like crazy. That's why I think he would go. I mean, he could go to Houston too, but I think he'll go to the Texas Rangers, or he'll just come back to the Dodgers. I worry about a transition to the American League at his age. I think he'd get lit up here, unfortunately, but I do. What do we got here? 2000. Yes, that's right. Jared. Get some young studs. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they can trade for Pablo Lopez from the Marlins, I would trade for Lopez from the Marlins. He's young. He's got several years left. He's like 25 years old. He's solid. If you can get Frankie Montas here, I get Frankie Montas here. And again, yeah, I mean, Luden. I mean, if you can get Olsen, Murphy, and Montas, that's the primo trade for me. Yeah, and that's the primo trade for me. Do I think we need this many future star shortstops? These many, yeah. I mean, Fizwiz, I do, because of their versatility. Some of them can move up to other positions, or it gives the Yankees a lot of valuable trade chips in the future. But I would be doing the same with catching. Honestly, I would be bringing in a lot of good young catchers here, because catchers are valuable trade pieces, as are shortstops. But the Yankees keep building up the middle, because shortstop, generally like center field, they tend to be the most versatile positions. So short can move to third, can move to second. Center field can move to a corner outfield spot. So the versatility with those two positions is key. So I think that's why. And again, they're great athletes. They're good hitters. So I think that's why they're doing it. Peraza, again, I think he's going to have to be in a trade for a multiplayer trade with Oakland. Like if it's Olsen and Montez, or Molson, if they somehow get Sean Murphy, he's going to have to go in that trade. He'd have to go in a trade for probably Brian Reynolds too. So with those guys, yeah, I mean, I'm only moving Peraza if they're getting a big player in return. Otherwise, if they can keep him, I keep him. And you can think about it this way too. Like they could trade Torres, right? They still have DJ. But at some point, DJ could be the super utility guy as he gets older. You have Torres. You can move Peraza to second if they sign Correa for somehow. Let's just say he's at short, and then when Volpe comes up, you move Correa to third and have Volpe at short. Then you have Peraza at second, and maybe Olsen at first. Like that. I mean, that's a defensive just juggernaut in the infield. They would move Gio, obviously, if that scenario actually panned out, and if Volpe keeps progressing the way he's progressing. That's the other thing too. He could be Luden. I mean, I think Voit would be great in Colorado. I think he'd be good in Miami. There's a lot of teams in the National League I think they would be, especially if they adopted DH. And, what do I think the Yankees payroll should be? Honestly, well, it's going down by $100 million over the next 5 years. So I don't see any reason why they can't bump it up to 260, 270, 280 when you have all this money coming off the next couple of years. That's guaranteed just with the guys, contracts expiring and all this stuff. I mean, they're going to have automatic $30 million off the books with Chapman and Britton this year. So if they're at 280, it goes down to 250, and then like other guys coming off too. So I don't really have an issue with them, with it being high this year, Peter. But I think if they're going to invest, it should be this year, because this is the most robust free agent class in the next several years. So that's my guess. Do I think the Yankees trade Voit before the season? Probably, Michael Mazza. Probably. If they get something of value in return, yeah. Well, that's the thing too, Udall. You make a great blank. When we had speed and we used it. That I mean, when they had all these speed guys, they had Odor, like, and he was more of like a clutch player. But you had Andrew Velasquez, you had Tyler Wade, you had Greg Allen. When they won those 13 consecutive games this year, they were utilizing players like that: the speed, the athleticism, the versatility. And then when he started bringing in the starters back, that's when he started losing again. So I think a combination of these power guys and some speedy, athletic guys are key. A table setter at the top, like a Brian Reynolds or somebody like that, would be perfect. And then you transition to a contact hitter like DJ, and then you have the big boys behind him, which I think would be a fantastic thing to do. So, but speed has to be part of this roster, man. It does. Judge, Stanton, Volpe, Olsen would be nice core up. God, yeah. It'd be fantastic. Fantastic. Cole, Judge, Stanton, DJ. It's PF now. Everyone else on the active roster is tradable. Probably, yeah. There are some guys that I probably wouldn't trade, or I'd be reluctant to trade on this team. But I'd like to keep guys like Clay Holmes and a couple other ones. But I could, Luis Hill, but some young building blocks. But I know I see what you mean. Steinbrenner Brian, the Yankees was ranked the second best investment in the 20th century. Yeah, the return on investment, Christian, was like $10 million to $4 billion. I mean, that's as good as it gets, man. That's great business move. Great business move. And he made him loved again. He made him lovable again, which I love too. Stan is Class A athlete. So is Sean. Yeah, they're top of the line, Sean. Top of the line, bro. Yeah. Cole was fine. Yeah, I mean, he would have been as good as Ray General had he not gotten hurt. I think he would have won the Cy Young. Ray was great. He had a great year. There's no doubt about it. He deserved to win the Cy Young. No doubt. Freeman or Correa? With those guys, I go with Correa. So, at that rate. So if you think about it this way, Freeman's starting his contract at 33 for a 6-year deal. Correa, he would be 6 years into that 10-year deal before he even hits Freeman's age. He would only have 4 more years after that. So he'd be going from 27 to 37. Freeman's would be going from 33 to 39. And I think shortstop represents a bigger need in free agency, or just makes more sense to fill it in free agency via trade, whereas first base makes more sense to fill it via trade instead of free agency. It's kind of the way I look at it. So in that scenario, I go for Correa. And again, being 5 years younger than Freeman kind of puts him at a significant advantage, in my opinion. They're both clutch, great players, though. Watch cash trade for Chapman and analytics department dream. Yeah, I hope not, Gitmo. I fear that, yeah, but I hope that's not the case. This is where I think analytics needs to just keep their mouth shut and not do this one. Not do this one. Ethan Correa. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Luden. Same thing. I don't know if my logic makes sense, but that's kind of how I see it. Yeah, Stanton and Judge stayed healthy, thankfully. So I'm really happy at that. But Stanton really, he blew up in the postseason, man. And since he's been here, he's been just under a 300 hitter in the postseason. And just to put it in perspective, Judge hits about 230 in the postseason. Stanton's like 290. That's a big difference. And the Judge is a great player, but when he's on a heater, he's just there's no stopping the guy when he's on a heater. He hits everything, man, which is crazy. And you can kind of see it coming too. He starts to hit singles. When he starts to hit opposite field, then all of a sudden you see this string of monster home runs. And I love watching him hit home runs, man. He hits them so far. It's ridiculous. And he never lets go with a bat. So that's kind of old school, kind of Hunter Pence type offensive hitter, which I like. He holds on to that bat. I really like that. Love him. Camilo Doval, he's 23, has a big arm to be a guy that the Yankees could benefit from trying to get. I'll look into him, Mike. I mean, my guess, if he's that good, the Giants are probably going to want to keep him, but I'm going to look into him. Camilo Doval, okay. I'm going to take a look at that. Yeah, Cole's going to be fine. He's a horse, man. He's an absolute horse. So Hirsch, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. New York and Manhattan, no doubt about it. I wish Boone's home run at 23 would have got robbed. We didn't win that year anyway. And 2, it's the reason this guy even got the job and curse us like this. Well, after you hit that home run, that offseason, he tore his ACL playing basketball. And that's when the Yankees traded Soriano for A-Rod. So he's the reason that they brought A-Rod here, Aaron Boone. Again, he tore his ACL that offseason. And they traded for A-Rod immediately after. 3-team trade idea. Yankees get Shane Bieber, Jose Ramirez, and Olsen. A's get Herman, Vasquez, Medina, Peraza, Florial, and Bo Naylor. Cleveland gets Schmidt, Torres, Gio Voigt, Trivio, Brent Honeywell, and Davey. Man, that's a monster trade. But again, dude, if you can get Shane Bieber, Jose Ramirez, and Olsen here, I mean, again, that changes the team. It's worth giving up a haul like that because Ramirez replaces Gio at third, right? And then DJ replaces Torres at second, and then you have Olsen at first base, and then you have Shane Bieber putting him right behind Garrett Cole. And again, that's the type of high-end quality they need. That makes him, I think, a contender. I really do. Franchise, yeah, man, I got the Stanton jersey, man. I love it, man. I love it. I got the Cole jersey. I got one for Christmas, and my mom got it for me for Christmas, and I have a Stanton one. I have an old school away gray David Wells number 33 jersey. I got a couple other ones too. Hitting coach, the Yankees got one. They got Dylan Lawson, Ron. And so they need a new assistant hitting coach. Ola, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. Hit the like and subscribe. Yes. Trying to keep this authentic and real, everybody. I mean, hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, hit that like button. It's really helpful to the channel. It just helps. It helps the channel spread it to a greater community around the world. So it's really greatly appreciated. Alternate universe of Cole, Ray, one. Yeah, I mean, Cole and Ray would have been a pretty badass one too. But I'll take Cole and Rodon or Cole and Bieber or somebody like that, or Cole and Castillo. I'll take that too. But I'll take Cole and a 2 and a 3 as well to go with those other dudes. How about if Freeman was like a 5-year $270 with a club option? 5-year $270, that's $54 million per year. I would go Correa. That's a lot of money, man. Do you mean 170, Ethan? 270 is a ton. An absolute ton. Touchdown. Are the Cowboys beating the Eagles right now? Queensbridge is fine. The St. John's legend, Lodone. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I lived in Astoria, Queens for quite a while, so grew up in Manhattan and then from Queens. So generally in Queens, you're Met fans, but not me, man. Yankees all the way, baby. Yeah, Jared, I'm kind of a similar mindset as you. I don't do much analytical reliance, so I really don't. I mean, there's a certain part where it has a fit, but I like the human effect before that. So, Kyle, I'll sit in Montez, Ford, Torres, Voigt, Schmidt, and Medina. Second trade, Sanchez and Davey Garcia for Lopez. If you can get Pablo Lopez for Davey Garcia and Gary Sanchez, I would do that in a heartbeat. In an absolute heartbeat, Kyle. That would be a wonderful trade for the Yankees. It really would. I think that the Marlins will probably ask for more offense than pitching, but if you can get that, you can get him for those two guys, I'd be all over it. Yeah, Jerry Jones has made money hand over foot with the Cowboys, and he opened up this ridiculous new stadium too. So, but they haven't won a World Series in a while. A while. My claim to fame with the Cowboys, I met Michael Irvin in the Copacabana a bunch of years ago. He was real cool. Really cool guy, man. Nice guy. I met him the same night I met Rondell White, who's playing with the Yankees. He was real chill too, man. Really cool dude, man. So that was a cool night, man. They were partying together, actually. Solid number 2 behind Cole. 100%, Michael. 100%. Said he has to stay healthy. That's why I have him as a long relief guy until he can prove that he's healthy again. And then maybe gradually put him up to the rotation, but I wouldn't throw him to the rotation right away and expect him to be number 2. I wouldn't do it. No. Bro cut off a throw home in Game 1 of the World Series that would have caught. I don't remember that one, Marion, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. He was not as good of a third baseman as A-Rod obviously was, but I don't remember him being known for. I just remember him being known for that home run, man. Really, that was an epic home run. I wish I was at that game, but I'm not surprised he did that, cut off a throw. I don't remember him being a great defensive player. What do I think the Yankees need to do with their bullpen? I would add one more guy. I mean, Aaron, thanks so much, and the congrats, man, for 7 cam. Trying to catch up here. What would I do with the bullpen? I'd probably add somebody like Andrew Chafin, or if there's anybody you can trade for Josh Hader, you do that. But I'm not sure that Milwaukee's in the trading, has an appetite for trading right now. I think they're going to want to add. They've already added Hunter Renfroe from Boston for another offensive piece. So it seems like they want to add instead of subtract. But Chafin is an attractive guy. Emir Garrett from Cincinnati would be nice. I mean, Garrett and Castillo would be a great trade. Yeah, me too, Luden. Man, I played baseball in high school and into college, and I was a 2-sport guy. I played baseball and ran track. Useful playing pickup. Yeah, that's when he tore his ACL, Hirsch, playing pickup basketball. Wow, they've beaten the Eagles 44-20. Not surprised. Does this eliminate the Eagles from playoff contention if the Cowboys win, or are they still in the wild card hunt? Sanchez tomorrow. I mean, especially if the Marlins, because they don't need him as a catcher now because they traded for Jacob Stallings. But like, if they adopted DH, he'd be a perfect DH. I did not. I met Harris. I met Irvin right in the middle of the club, man. He was real cool. Really, really nice guy. Cole was probably upset when he injured. I don't know. I think he wasn't the only pitcher that didn't want to throw to him. Kluber didn't want to throw to him. There was a couple other guys that didn't want to throw to him too. So my guess is there's still a shot that they're going to bring in Wilson Contreras. I would not rule that one out. The only way I would trade for Sanchez if I'm Marlins if he's going to be the DH. They don't need him to catch there. So Cole, Rodon, Montez, Montgomery, Severino. I mean, that would be a nice rotation. That'd be really, if you can get Rodon and Montez, I would love that. He was no Scott Brocious. I mean, Brocious was like an average player when he came, and then he came here and became this legend. So, and he was part of the guys that, him and like Paul O'Neill, they were integral to the chemistry of this team. And we need guys like that to really make this team special. Really do. And big boy, yes, Chafin, man. I mean, I've been talking about Chafin for a while. Reliable lefty reliever. I would bring him in because Britain's going to miss the whole season. So we need another lefty. Sevi, yeah, I mean, Sevi, same thing, man. Sevi would be perfect in long relief and building him up, just like Nestor Cortez. Again, he gassed out in the second half of the year. This would be a perfect opportunity to kind of build up stamina and transition him into the rotation. He's not a free agent until 2026. So they have 4 seasons with him, Nestor. 4. So that to me is a good time, a good opportunity to develop him and work his way back into the rotation. That's what I would do if he stays here. Tyler, Brian Reynolds for Jason Dominguez, Schmidt, Gomez, Peraza. Reynolds for Dominguez, Schmidt, Yoendris Gomez, and Oswald Peraza. Probably. It would hurt to... You know what's crazy? It would hurt me to give up Peraza more than it would Dominguez. I hate saying it, but I like Dominguez. I hope he pans out. But to me, Brian Reynolds is the finished product of Jason Dominguez. So you'd be getting lifetime Jason Dominguez. There's no guarantee that Dominguez is going to pan out either. So that's why I don't call him the next Mickey Mantle or anything like that. So I think that's way too early to do that. But I would love Reynolds. If you give a Peraza, obviously they're going to, they better be signing somebody as shortstop if you're giving up Oswald Peraza, Tyler. But I think I would, at the end of the day, I would do that. Because you got 4 years of Brian Reynolds here. I would do it. I'd probably get a lot of crap for it, but I would do it because again, it's Brian Reynolds. He'd be a perfect leadoff hitter for the Yankees. Switch hitter, center fielder, we'd have him locked in there. So, and I've been talking about Brian Reynolds for a while. Giants. Oh, the Giants are terrible. Giants are terrible. So the Jets, and I'm a Jets fan. At least they have 2 top 7 picks in the draft. Well, as of this week, I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Taylor Rogers from Miami would be nice, Michael. I mean, I think it's gonna be hard to get him, but if you can, you get Rogers and Rodon. Oh my God, yeah. Call Rodon Rogers. I'll be all over that. Wow, 51-20. My God. Jesus. Oh, that's a massacre. Bad business was Cashman pissing Jeter, making it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It would have been nice if Jeter kind of came to the front office or became part owner of the Yankees. It would have been nice. And I think Jeter's going to keep building Miami and just quietly keep building it. They're bringing in good personnel. They're going to keep bringing in good players. Gradually, before you know it, they're going to be contenders. Amir, Garrett, and Castillo for Luis Hill, Schmidt, Voit. Garrett. I would hate to give up Gil, but I think I would do that trade, big boy. Because I still have Luis Medina, too. He's got some more. He's not as advanced right now as Luis Hill, but I'd probably do that. I would prefer to give up Medina in that trade, but to get Garrett and Castillo, you're probably going to have to do that. How do I think the Yankees bullpen lines up? Anybody? Well, I mean, Clay Holmes. Well, in the middle, let's just excluding the long relief guys. Your Clay Holmes. You got Joely, you got some of these other guys. I mean, I think right now it's Loaiza in the 8th and Chapman in the 9th, even though I hope it's the other way around. I would alternate the 2. But Holmes is going to be in the 6th or 7th inning, maybe even the 7th. This new kid that they traded for recently. I forgot his name. Johnny something. The hard-throwing sinker ball pitcher. I think he'll be in there as well. And Lucas Licky actually looks pretty solid this offseason. I saw a workout video the other day. He looks pretty decent too. And he's got several years of control too. So a mixture of the 2, but I think Lasagna and Chapman are going to be the 8 and 9. Olden days, you play sports off-season, your history. That's why no one did that. Yeah. The baseball players used to work other jobs. They used to be in like construction, oil. A lot of these guys were in the military. Like Joe DiMaggio, he played 3 years. 1943 to 1945 in World War II. Him, I think it was Ted Williams. They were all overseas fighting in World War II. And then they came back. And then it's like they didn't miss a beat, which is crazy. Which is crazy. Ralph Garcia, I get what you're saying. The year, I don't remember if it was 2015, maybe he had like 33 home runs and 90 RBIs. I don't see that happening again, but maybe. But at this point, they need somebody who's going to be more reliable behind the plate. So, Reynolds with Dominguez, Schmidt, Gomez, Peraza. Yeah. Chris Bryant is another guy I would be considering too, because of his versatility to play multiple positions, especially if like Rizzo doesn't work out or Olsen doesn't work out. He can play first base too. And he can play third, he can play the outfield. But you can plug him right at first. How about one of the younger San Diego lefties, Morahan, Weathers? Maybe if you can get him. At this point, a young lefty pitcher would be fantastic. So, Ethan. Kenny Rogers for Scott Brocious was a great. Oh, hell yeah, it was. Joey Gallo to Cubs. The only way to do that is if you're getting somebody like Ian Happ in return, or Happ and Wilson Contreras, or something like that. Yankees closer to the Reds. Yeah, they are. Pete always says Cashman can have a plan ABC. He said, how far down the alphabet do you think he needs to go at? How far down the alphabet do you think he ends up going at the end of the day? Well, the problem is we don't know what his A, B, C, D, and E are. So, that's the thing. Like, I think he's going to do a little bit of A, a little bit of B, like a piece from each one of those letters is what I think he's going to wind up doing. That's why I think we're going to be like disappointed and pleasantly surprised kind of all at the same time. And that's kind of how Cashman operates. And he's going to pull something out of his hat that we weren't even thinking of in a trade. And we're going to be like, what? How did you do that? So, and that's where I think, the Olsen to me is the more logical trade, and then I think he'll make another trade of some craziness, and I don't know what the hell it's going to be, but none of us are going to know, and it's going to come out of nowhere, and we're going to be like, what? I don't understand, but it'll wind up working out. So he has his tendency to do that on a regular basis. That's part of his man. I don't know what and he makes better trades in the offseason than he does during the season. So that's why I say that as well. Do the Brewers have any catching? I don't. Not that I know of, Kyle. Any catching prospects? Not that I know of. Yeah, I don't think so. Would I re-sign Rizzo and bring in Bryant and Story? Bryant and Rizzo be reunited as teammates. That'd be pretty cool. He's a great player. He's a leader too. I think they need some of that. I mean, bring in Bryant and Story, and if you re-sign Rizzo, then yeah, I mean, at that point, you're going to wind up having to move somebody, Torres or Gio or something, because Bryant, where's he going to play? Third in this situation? And if Story plays short, then I just worry about Volpe at some point. So where's Volpe going to play? And that's my other concern. So I bring in Bryant or Story with Rizzo, big boy. I don't know if I bring in both. I just don't. I worry about Volpe being blocked. Appreciate your franchise. Yeah, I mean 10K is the next big milestone. That's when I plan on dropping some merch. So I'm working on some 161 Mafia merch. So once I hit the 10,000 subscriber threshold, that's when I'm gonna put it out. So that's the plan right now. I've been researching that stuff, and I'm even getting something trademarked too. So, and that's the game plan at that 10,000. So the quicker we get there, the better. So anybody in here that's not subscribed, make sure you please do that because it's really helpful to the channel. And I appreciate your franchise. Trade Sanchez for a box of sunflower seeds. Yeah, or some big league chew, dude. Chicken porn. I have to wait for Pineda. Pineda's another one. Unfortunately, didn't pan out, man. He was like 23 when they got him here too. It's just he was good for a little while, and then it just didn't pan out. And then he went to he went to a couple different teams, just like Jose Contreras didn't pan out, and then he traded to the White Sox. If I remember correctly, from Esteban Loaiza, who's in prison now, and he wound up winning a World Series. Contreras over there because he was with like Dallas, was it Keuchel and Mark Burley and those guys when they had that ridiculous rotation. And Bobby Jenks was their closer, and they won the World Series there. Would I trade for Zach Wheeler? Not before. No, maybe not. I mean, not before Luis Castillo. I mean, he still has, what does he have, 3 years left on his deal? I mean, he's worth looking at. He's worth looking into. I don't know if he's available, though. And he's still a solid pitcher. So at the very least, I would look into him. Seth Lugo. Yeah, maybe Seth Lugo. This thing's scrolling down fast. If I miss you, I apologize. I'm trying to get everybody here as much as I can. You can send Medina, Sweeney, Florial, Montgomery, and Herman to Philly for Wheeler and Neris. That's too much to send to Philly. I wouldn't send Montgomery and Herman for Zach Wheeler. That's giving up a starter and a spot starter for Wheeler and Hector Neris. I don't even think Neris is there anymore. Is he? Yeah, personally, I think that's too much for those guys, Mazza. Luden, I hope it's pleasant. 100%, Luden. 100%. I mean, Cashman is just cagey. You never know what the hell he's thinking and what he's doing. So they just don't show any of their cards ever. Ryan. Please only make jokes my wife approves of as I'm as edgy as a whip. Oh, dang, Ryan. Too much, bro. You got too much, man. Hulk Hogan was asked to do the product, George Foreman the grill, but passed. George made zillions. I did not know that, man. Yeah, George, my God, he made zillions upon zillions with that freaking thing. I didn't realize he had 8 kids and every single one of them was named George. That's crazy, man. That's freaking nuts. Cashman is a master at diamonds out of the rough. Yes, he is. I mean, Clay Holmes is one of them. And Licky, like Gio. Yeah, I mean, just, he does this on a regular basis. And he does it in the offseason. And with the exception of Clay Holmes, who was gotten at the deadline, but he came, he was with Pittsburgh. Then he came here and became like, became a shutdown dominant reliever. So, and that's also Matt Blake, too, doing a great job, at making adjustments with some of these guys. So, trade Cashman for Jeter. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Time for Lane Howell to sell the team. He's definitely not his father. He's definitely not his father. Hulk Hogan was too busy with the steroid. Yeah. Unfortunately. Fortunately, so. Bronson, hoodies and Scully caps. I'm looking at the hoodies, Scully caps. I'm looking at some people ask for coffee mugs. I'll definitely do t-shirts, stuff like that. Those are the types of merch. And I take suggestions on merch. And if I can make it happen, I definitely will. So, but hoodies and skull caps are definitely something I'm looking at. No doubt. No doubt, E. Brunson. Cashman, Thornton, Jeter. Oh, where did that go? For a trade. I think they will, Ron. I think he's going to. I think that might be the crazy trade that he makes with, this offseason with the Marlins. And El Centro, I would trade with St. Louis, big boy. I would trade maybe with Cubs, obviously. I mean, and the Reds. Those are the three teams that I would trade. Well, actually, Pittsburgh, too, with Brian Reynolds. So, you know what? You're right, big boy. Pretty much every team in the Central is a good trade candidate for the Yankees. So, you're absolutely right. Yeah, George Foreman. I guarantee, could you imagine how good? Well, G. Flip the burgers and you do this, eat the train. Say your vitamins, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, all that shit. And while he's just smashing the burgers. Oh, man. It just sounds like a Foreman grill. It just sounds better than the Hulkamania grill, the Hulkster grill. But yeah, he missed out, man. Yep. Imagine if Posada became part. I wouldn't mind that at all, actually. I wouldn't mind it at all. Ed McMahon. Nice. This is more of a trade deadline deal. Yankees get Aaron Nola for Alexander Vargas, Hayden Wesneski, Lockridge, and Randy Vasquez. That's something I would entertain. No, and I agree. It's probably Tyler Talbot. I think it's probably a trade deadline trade. I can't see him for some reason trading Nola in the offseason. I could see them trading Wheeler, but not Nola. But Nola would be solid here, too. I do. I did think it would be solid here. Crafty pitcher. The Clay Holmes trade was excellent. He's got like 3 years of control left, too. So he's getting these young, controllable guys. And there's a young pitcher, I forgot his name, but when they traded Luis Cessa and Justin Wilson to the Reds, the player to be named later was this young, dynamic, like 22 or 23-year-old starting pitching prospect. And he's kind of building his way through the system, too. So I would keep an eye on that one, too. Sanchez and boxes of Omaha Steaks. Love it. Yankees top trade partner. Cubs, Reds, A's, Pirates, Marlins, Brewers, Rockies. Yeah. Tyler, I think you're about right. I mean, Cubs, Wilson Contreras, maybe even Ian Happ. I don't think they'll trade any pitching. I think they're trying to add pitching there because they brought in, what's his name? Marcus Stroman already to complement Kyle Hendricks. Reds, to me, Castillo, maybe Amir Garrett. I would love to see if they can get Winker, but I don't know. A's, obviously, Olsen. Hopefully, Mane or Murphy, one of those guys, and Montez. Pirates, to me, Brian Reynolds. Stallings would have been nice, but they moved them to the Marlins. The Marlins, some of their pitchers, Pablo Lopez or one of them guys. The Brewers, to me, would be Josh Hader, so if they can possibly get him. Rockies, German Marquez. Those would be the guys, and maybe Daniel Bard for the bullpen. But those are the kind of the guys that I would be targeting from those teams. So, Tyler, who would you be targeting on from those teams? But those, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, Brian, unfortunately, Hulk was a little bit of a racist, unfortunately. So he's gotten himself into a little bit of trouble. But again, I think, come down to the end of the day, I think Foreman would have probably knocked him out. So Foreman was a That dude had some thunder shots, man. But the leg drop, the Hulk Hogan leg drop, and then the shaking himself, the seizures before he stood up, and that was entertaining at the very least. Yeah, David Cohn, Sunday Night Baseball, and then you got Michael Kay and A-Rod on ESPN now, and I like Cohn getting opportunities. I think he's a good commentator. I like him, and A-Rod's actually a good. He's got a smart baseball mind. He makes some good suggestions as well. Sometimes he tries too hard to be liked, and he's got a reputation for being a dick. Unfortunately, Cohn, I like him. I really like Cohn. I loved him as a pitcher. I like him on the microphone too. I like Paul O'Neill in there too, John Flaherty. They're good dudes. Two starting. Yep, 100%, Jared. 100%, brother. Josh Bell for Yankees. Yeah, he's got one more year left. Chicken parm. Dude, I had a fantastic chicken parm hero for lunch today. Love chicken parm. And Josh Bell's possible, but I wouldn't pick him over Matt Olson. He would cost less, yes, obviously. Matt Olson's my first pick, man. Carson Kelly and Ketel Marte out of Arizona. That would be a great trade too, Kyle. What I think would cost quite a bit because of the team control for both of them. I mean, probably Peraza, they're going to ask for Dominguez. I don't think they'll get it. But if you add Zach Gallen to the trade, then you're going to have to give up Dominguez. Probably Luis Medina or Luis Hill. Probably Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera and a couple other prospects, maybe a Trey Sweeney. It would probably cost probably 5 solid prospects to get those 2 guys, Kyle Gibbs. That'd be my guess. I don't know if he's leaving Yes Network. I know they gave him permission to do the Sunday Night Baseball. It's Michael Kay. I mean, I'm not sure if Michael Kay is leaving Yes either, but it sounds like he tweeted something earlier. I want to thank the Yankees for giving me this opportunity, permission to do this. So I'm not sure if he's doing both or Sunday Night Game. I'm not exactly sure if he's doing double duty because he also does that other talk show on Yes Network. He does a lot of stuff for the Yankees. I like Michael Kay with the Yankees too, but so if he gets to do double duty, I hope he does. I just like that swung on a drill deep to right. I like his home run chant. It's freaking awesome. When David Justice hit that home run, it was one of his best ones. How about a call and Mike Tyson playing baseball together? Calling Mike Tyson play. Yeah, man. I would have loved to see prime Mike Tyson fight prime George Foreman. That would have been a good fight. Both teams are in the playoffs, Ryan? Okay. Damn, the Cowboys are good, man. So what does this mean? Cowboys get Arizona in the wild card? Is that what's I think? What are they? 12-5 now? Cowboys and Eagles are what? 9-8 or 8-9? K's with he's going to be with ESPN on Sunday nights now. No, Saturday, excuse me, with A-Rod. I'm not sure if it's a full-time ESPN thing or if it's just Saturday. I'm not exactly sure if he's still with that in Yes or he's completely leaving Yes. Yeah, training saying your parents need your vitamins. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was at a couple of wrestling cards at Madison Square Garden when he was there and he came out and he had one of the better entrances. And Stone Cold Steve Austin had one of the best entrances ever. So did The Undertaker. Love those guys. Yeah, I mean, A-Rod's definitely easy. I mean, ESPN dude's on Shark Tank is one of the guest sharks. Like he's all over the place. Kyle Freeland too, Tyler. Yeah, I forgot about him. I mentioned him as in the starting pitcher. Tapia, Bard, Marquez. Yeah, any one of those guys or a combination would be a nice get for the Yankees. Marquez is, just a reliable number 2 starter behind Cole. We could definitely use him. Bard, he's kind of reinvented himself. And since he came back from a layoff, he was one of the best Red Sox pitching prospects for quite a while. Just still throws 100 miles an hour too. I'd be all over Bard too. Andrew Heaney, yeah. Somebody signed. The Dodgers signed him. That's right. The Dodgers signed Andrew Heaney. So he's going to be front line in that rotation with Trevor Bauer, man. He'll be all right. He does seem to be more liked as an analyst than a player. Yeah, but he has a reputation for being a dick as a player. So Jared, man. I mean, chicken parm is one of the greatest things ever. Sandwich. Oh, man. Fantastic. Ace, Chapman, Olsen, Montez, Manea. Yeah. Murphy, too. I would add Sean Murphy, Tyler, or Tyler Soderstrom. They're the catching prospect. I think it's going to be hard to get Murphy off their roster right now. Anthony Torres, Rivera's in the house. What's happening, man? Pirates, Reynolds, all day. All day. I don't think there's a chance in the world they're going to get Brian Hayes, so they're going to try to build around him. Staying on, yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, big boy. Giving him permission to do it on Sunday with A-Rod. So, yeah. I think it'll be cool. You know, it'll expand his audience as well. And he might get an opportunity on ESPN at some point to move on. So, and be there full time. Who knows? Ray Boom Boom Mancini versus Hector Macho Camacho. Retreating all fight. Gave him to Camacho. Judges. I don't remember that fight. I got to see that fight. I saw the Roberto Duran. I saw a couple of Duran fights. It was a Meldrick Taylor. And Taylor was beating him. Julio Cesar Chavez. Meldrick Taylor. Taylor was beating him until the very, very end. And then Chavez beat him. Last round. That was an epic fight. Newman's night 2019 from the Pirates was crazy. 500 and 3-0. I got to look at that too, Luden. Reliever on the Pirate. Yeah, that's him, Tyler, the reliever. Yankees need to retool and trade away Chapman. Holmes. Oof. I hesitate to trade Clay Holmes. I really do. Depends on what they can get back for him. Hicks, Gallo, Stanton for yes. I know it's scary to think of it. I don't know. I don't know that I would trade Stanton. I really don't. I'm like Yankee King. I don't know if I would trade him. Any fan of prison documentaries? Watch Attica Shown on Showtime. Very interesting. Saw the movie with Samuel Jackson. Was good. I visited Alcatraz when I was over there with my wife. That was pretty cool, actually. Went into cells, went into the prison. Check it out. That was pretty fascinating. I met Ric Flair at a monster movie convention. One of the coolest guys ever, Ric Flair. Oz, actually, that show Oz on HBO. J.K. Simmons. I used to play softball with him on the Broadway show Softball League. And also one of the nicest guys ever. He's a badass and a mean bastard in Oz. But if you've seen The Accountant with Ben Affleck, he's in that movie. He's kind of the head of the Treasury. He's one of the guys that was chasing after him. He's a good actor. I think we honestly end up getting Correa, Olsen, Montez, Rodon, Reynolds. It's all possible. It's definitely possible, big boy. If they got all those guys, I mean, they would be, in my opinion, favorites to win the World Series. If they got all those guys, I actually think I have the picture here with Ric Flair, so I'm looking for it. Let me check here for a second. If they got here it is. If they got those guys, they would be favorites. Me and Ric Flair. Nature boy, baby. Yeah. I met Ric Flair. He's a cool dude, man. You remember Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds? And that's Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds at the same convention. Nice guy, too. Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. All at the same convention, man. Ric Flair, yeah. All cool dudes, man. Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey is worth the drive. Cult following, too. Freaking awesome. What do we do with Austin Wells? You can move him in a trade, probably, Michael Mazza. He's not projected to be here long-term as a catcher either. They already have him position, like thinking short-term or long-term at another position, like first base or something. If the MLB has a luxury tax floor of 120, I don't see the Athletics trading the guys you've heard in the room. No, I mean, if it goes up to 120, then no, they're gonna have to keep them because I mean that's how they're gonna get up to that payroll. So I don't think it'll go that high either. I mean, the players are against it. I mean, you probably have to start it at 80 million or something like that for the players union to even consider it. That's just my thought, but I know that's the owners want that and the commissioner wants that. I know that. No. MLB has luxury tax. Yeah. JT, another start. Yeah. Richard K, thank you so much, bro. JK very good at softball? JK was solid at softball. Who was good in the league? I ran a senior softball league. So when I was at the Broadway Show softball league, one of the teams we played against was Local 1, the Stagehands. Larry Doby, one of the original African American players, one of the first black players. I think he was the first black player maybe in the National League. His son, Larry Doby Jr., played with the Stagehands. He was a monster. When I used to play center field and we played against them, if you're familiar with Central Park, towards Columbus Circle, there's like 5 softball fields. When he was at bat, I used to go to second base on the other field because he'd hit the softball like 500 feet. Every single time he got up, it was like bombs. You had to go all the way back there. So Larry Doby Jr., nice guy too, but he was a beast, absolute beast. He's the best player I've ever played against, Larry Doby Jr. Juan Soto for Dominguez, Hill, Volpe, and Loaizaga. Oh, that would hurt. Juan Soto for Dominguez, Hill, Volpe, and Loaizaga. Oh, God. I'm 50-50 on that one, Peter. Let me think about that for a little bit. That's a bold-ass trade right there. Damn, that's a monster. So Richard K. I mean, that guy was a monster. And JK was a solid player. And a hell of a nice guy. Really hell of a nice guy. Bednar, yeah. Yo, Kyle, man, I just saw that. Feel better, brother. Seriously, feel better. Hope you do. Get well, dude. Plowed over Bette Midler. Look, man, she asked for it, Ryan. She asked for it, though. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do, Brian. You know what I mean? Like, when you ask for it, I mean, it's just, you know, got to give it to her, man. Where does Hal rank in all-time Yankee owners? Not ahead of his dad, that's for sure. Probably last. Probably last. Your friend worked with Larry Doby Jr. as a stage. Yeah, man, he's been a stagehand for a while. He's a big dude, man. But he was the best softball player I've ever played against. Series Billions and to Bobby Axelrod, guy with glasses on with some Blue Bloods, Lieutenant Corona. That's actually a pretty good show. Yeah, Larry Doby. I mean, him and Jackie Robinson were the two guys. The two guys, man. You know, two first guy breaking the color barrier in baseball. If the Yankees get Correa, Olsen, Rodon, and Montez, and Reynolds, they would still be a third. I don't think so. LA Yankee King. I don't think so at all. They got Correa, Matt Olson, Carlos Rodon, Frankie Montez, and Brian Reynolds. I don't think so. Third place team? Mm-mm. Not with all those guys. Reacquire Lance Lynn. Not as the primary get, Michael. Not as the primary. Cashman. I don't know about the worst in franchise history. He's got like 5 rings, so so I wouldn't go that far. I mean, he's done some bad stuff, but he's done some good stuff. But Gene Michael, to me, he was the architect of a lot of the dynasty. So I would still give Brian Cashman some of it, kind of continuing it, but he hasn't really moved into the 21st century with the team the way the other GMs have, unfortunately. So LA Yankee King has really good trade ideas. Hit us up with some. Yeah, I mean, he's got good trade. He does. I mean, I don't think with those moves, the Yankees would be a third place team though. First, maybe second, yeah. I mean, Tampa's going to be good no matter what. Boston's be good no matter what. So, and just by getting all those guys doesn't guarantee they win the World Series. I mean, on paper they'd be favorites, but that on paper is one thing, performance is another. So they still have to, do it. 2009 is definitely Cashman's, yes. 2000 was some of Cashman's too, and even 99. I mean, he traded for Clemens. 98, and so he's got a couple of these. Michael, again, architect. He got a lot of me. He's the guy that brought Jeter, and some of these other guys, Posada, Paul O'Neill, like those guys. But Cashman he gets some love, but recently he hasn't been. I mean, ever since like George, has left us. Unfortunately, I think he's been not the same. Braun Strowman's dad. I did not know that. All-time World Series record. I did not know that. Braun Strowman is huge, man. That dude is gigantic. Really is. Cashman can get minor league deals done. Yeah, they've already made a bunch of minor league signings. You can do minor league signings during the lockout, but no major league signings. So Cashman, 2009 is Cashman's LA Yankee King. That's all Cashman, dude. And partially 2000 is his too. But 2009 he owns that ring. Tatis for Volpe, Gil, Loaizaga, Medina. Damn. Well, Tatis shortstop, Volpe, Hill, Loaizaga. I'd want one top prospect to come back with Tatis, Peter. But that's an appealing trade. Because again, you have Tatis, who's better than Volpe right now. So again, he's legit. He's a bona fide star. I'm more inclined to trade him for Tatis than I am with Soto because of a different, being in the same position. So Mike was 90s and George 2009 because he knew he was going to die. Wanted to give us a goodbye. I mean, George is partly, but if we're going to stick Michael all the credit without George, but then we're going to give George all the credit without Cashman, I don't agree with that. So Cashman gets a bunch of them, and some of them, and Stick gets a bunch of them, but none of these things happen without George. So George at the top, George owns these all together. So again, they don't happen without George Steinbrenner's okay. And he brought in guys without even talking to the GMs. He got Gary Sheffield, went over there and got him. He just brought him home. Like, he didn't talk to any of the GMs. He just brought him. So he did his own thing too. "2018 was definitely supposed to be ours. That was the Astros. Was it 2017? 28? No, the cheating was at 2017. No, you're right, 2017. That was the Astros. Yeah. We get Suzuki, which home run call would awesome be K. K. I take K over. Take K over Sterling any day of the week. Any day of the week. Freeman 5 years worth 80 if you can get him for that, but I don't think he's gonna cost that little. Yeah, I'm with you, Sean. Under any circumstances, like I'm very hesitant to trade Volpe for anybody. New assistant hitting coach, not yet. I put out a video who I think would be a good candidate, but now they're talking about some other people too, Mark Trumbo and some other people. But and I keep hearing people saying, well, the person I put out doesn't have any major league experience. Well, neither does Dylan Lawson. He never played in the major leagues either, but he's going to be the new head hitting coach here. So, see you later. Yeah, that's probably it. Say you later. That'd be a good Suzuki. Yeah, and again, I don't want to trade Volpe under any circumstances. Brian Cashman's a bottom 5 GM. We'll see. I think Hal's a bottom 5 owner before he's a bottom 5 GM. So, but again, I think Cashman can go anywhere. If he got fired, he'd be hired the next day as a GM for another team. Loaizaga and Voit for Freddie Peralta. Oof. I'm hesitant to move Loaizaga, man. I really am. Well, yeah, exactly. There's no way we're going to get other teams' top players without giving up top prospects. It's just not going to happen. And just like when Cashman wants to give up, if somebody wants a Judge, they're going to have to give up top like it's the same way. Cashman asked for this guy too, and it's every GM's right to do that. There's no doubt about it. Ricky Ricardo and Jeff Nelson take over the ring. That will be a fantastic combo. Yeah, but I agree with you, Ryan. Yeah. Yeah. I really hope Volpe pans out and stays here and becomes a star. I really do. Matsui would be nice, but I mean, he doesn't speak English. That's the other problem. I don't know how easily of a transition it would be with a translator and all this stuff. So I just don't know. I don't know how easy it would be. But I like him. I like him. And a lot of people say Beltran too. But the problem, Beltran's a good hitter too and a pro, but these guys don't have any coaching experience. And great hitters don't necessarily mean great coaches. Like Tino, great hit with the Yankees. He was a nightmare hitting coach with the Tampa Bay Rays. He got fired after the year. He was an absolute nightmare over there. They hated him. He was like evil to the players. So that's my hesitation with some players who don't have any coaching experience. And I'm with you too, Hirsch. I think Lasagna will be the closer after Chappie's gone. I'm with you there. No doubt. I'm with you too, Tyler. I think he's the middle of the pack GM, not the bottom five. Yeah, George Steinbrenner's guy's a legend here. Best, owner the Yankees ever had, man. Love him. Granderson or Beltran I like both of them, but I still think somebody with coaching experience would be ideal. I like both of them. I mean, Granderson's a pro, man, but both of them would be nice. Both of them would be nice, Tyler. I hope they're instructors at the very least in spring training and then get opportunities to kind of work with guys. So, Yankees do have quite a few holes to fill. That's awesome. Broken English. Yeah, a little bit broken English. Bet with Jeter who would marry first and Godzilla won. Good for Godzilla. Well, Godzilla used to live in the same building with Jeter for quite a while in Manhattan by the United Nations there on First Ave. Trade Chapman, Lasagna, the closer. Yeah, I mean, I would move Chapman if you can get him. If you want a team to assume that whole $18 million, you tack on a good prospect, you can get a team to do it. So I wouldn't hesitate to move him. Fleecing Colorado for Marquez would be nice. I mean, if you can, yeah. Hell yeah. Ted, that's the thing. Great players don't make great managers always, or coaches and whatnot. Like Girardi was an average player, but he's a solid manager. So Torrey wasn't solid, decent player. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame manager. So it's interesting how it transitions over. I really do. You can get Tatis with anything headlining Volpe, you do it and send them to Dominican women. Send it to make Ludi, it's a buzz, man. You guys are on fire tonight. I love it, man. It's fantastic. Ichiro might be a nice one. I've talked about Edgar Martinez too as hitting coach too. I think he'd be a nice. Odds of the lockout delaying the season, start of the season. I think I'd say about 65 to 70%. Also Todd only. Yep. Todd on White too. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think we have a better than 50% chance now. Isaiah Thomas, he was a disaster as a coach and a GM with the Knicks. Disaster. Moving Chapman ASAP. Guy goes to the slide on high leverage. Yeah, if you don't trust 104 mile an hour fastball, then something's wrong with you. So. Well, LI Yankee King, there's only so many of these holes they can fill through free agency. I mean, you can fill shortstop through free agency. You can fill center field, or move Gallo to center field and bring in somebody like Suzuki in free agency. Catcher, you got to do via trade. First baseman, you got Freeman, you got Rizzo, so you can. Backup first baseman. They have some guys, but backup third baseman. Well, they need a utility guy for sure. That's right. Probably somebody like Jonathan Villar would probably be a decent guy here. Fourth outfielder. If you sign a center fielder, you already have a fourth outfielder, and then you have Esteban Florial. So, starting pitcher, you're going to have to trade some prospects. So, for starting pitcher and a first baseman, it depends. If you want Olsen and Montez, you're going to have to give up some prospect capital. There's no doubt about it. It's not going to happen otherwise. So Cashman's not going to fleece Oakland. He's not going to give them, crap prospects for those two guys. It's not going to happen. Phil Jackson, decent player, great coach. Yeah, he's a legend as a coach. Don Zimmer, again, yeah. Don Zimmer was great too. Love Don Zimmer. Eddie Rosario would be a solid. I mean, I think he could probably get him for probably 12 to 15 million per Ludin. Judge to left to cover more plays, Gallo to center, and Rosario to right. I mean, you could, but if you're gonna go Rosario, you might as well go Seiya Suzuki at that point. Put Judge in right, Seiya Suzuki to left, and have Stanton DH with an occasional outfield spot. And those guys you can rotate into the DH position, Ludin. That'd be what I would do. Knicks are having they've had a lot of COVID. They're getting pounded with COVID and like these other teams too. So that's one of the problems. But they're right around 500. It definitely took a step back, but again, they're getting pounded here. So hopefully they get a good stretch of playing at some point. But I mean, even if they make 500, it's a hell of a lot better than winning 20 games, which they did 2 years ago. So mediocre players tend to be better managers because great players are like, why don't you just yell? Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Riley too. Same. Yeah. Great coach. Estevan Florial. Yeah. On the roster. Gallo isn't a pure center fielder, but he's played center field with success, and he's got a cannon for an arm. So Estevan Florial has also played other positions as well. And again, I'm fine with Gallo or Estevan Florial. If you're going to bring in somebody for the outfield, if it's not Brian Reynolds, then who's a pure center fielder, then somebody like Seiya Suzuki would be a nice option. It's a fundamentally sound player, and it gives them some more options. But I have no problem with Florial being a fourth outfielder. The most I'd possibly give Story, if you're getting him a big year, probably 5 years, 125, something like that. Hicks in spring training, yeah, I don't think Hicks is going to be I don't think Hicks is going to make any. He's not going to make it that long. Updates on the lockout. I did a video earlier, Steven. February 1st is like the next significant date. The union's waiting on proposals from MLB, and they're talking about putting a couple of different proposals forward. The last time they met was December 7th. It didn't go well. February 1st is kind of the day. That's kind of the deadline or the cutoff point. And if they don't come to they don't make significant progress by that point, then it sounds like a delay to the, a delay in spring training and the season most likely. So, but yeah, Gallo is good in center field. I would put him there over Aaron Judge. He'll probably get more than that, Peter. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't think he's going to get $200 million, but he might. Same Udall. Yeah, the Knicks need some size. Suzuki and Rosario, I'd be fine with. That's some nice depth and versatility in the outfield, some speed, some athleticism, some good contact hitting. So, they gave up a lot of their speed and their versatility and their base running, so they need to get that back. 6'1", 150, yeah. It's probably more representative of what Story would get. I wouldn't have any issue giving that to him either. Yeah, and they gave up a lot of their defensive strength to LA Yankee King. So they can improve significantly their defense in the infield and the outfield with the right moves. So via trade and free agency. Yeah, you might be right, Peter. 7-185. That could be it. Yeah, I think Suzuki would be a good fit. I think he'd be a good fit here. He's probably a good fit in Boston too. So my fear is that Boston might snag him. So DJ's a solid infielder, man. Yeah, it was pretty evident from the start that Torres was not a natural shortstop. He just couldn't handle it. He doesn't have the range, and even Gio's got better range than shortstop than Torres, but he's still not a natural shortstop either. So he's better at third. And I don't think Gallo's going to be the full-time center fielder anyway. He's just better in center field than Judge is. And but I would still be bringing in another outfielder one way or another. Yeah, Tano, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. In Story, I think he's 28 or 29, so he could get 7 years. Suzuki unfollowed Boston. I think he goes to Texas, Seattle, or San Francisco. Maybe. I'm fascinated to see where he goes. I really am. The way Yankee Stadium is constructed, we need a center fielder in the left and a center fielder in center. Kind of. That's why Brian Reynolds would be great. And Eddie Rosario or somebody like that, or even a Florial. So. I hope the Red Sox don't get Suzuki either. Yeah, I'm with you there. Would I rather have Harper or Cole right now? Cole. I like Harper. Don't get me wrong. I wanted Harper when he came, but I like to have both personally. But I'm happy with Stanton. I really am. But Harper. That's a monster deal for Harper. But he's been worth every penny of it so far. Really has. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Oswald Peraza or Carlos Correa playing shortstop for the Yankees. That's my guess. I did predict Story, but for some reason I have a feeling it's not going to happen. Yeah, and again, like you say, Ryan too. Like if you can get Brian Reynolds and Correa, that changes everything, man. And if you get Reynolds, Correa, and Olsen, that changes. Even more than everything. So, I do think Torres has a good shot to be traded. I do. DJ was hurt last year, LI King, so I can't. It's not a fair comparison. Let's give DJ a healthy year again. He'll be better than Nicky Lopez behind the plate at the bat, and we know that. Honestly, they can get Reynolds and Matt Olson. They really could. They're gonna have to trade up a ton, but they can get both of them. And this would be the time to do it. Long-term building blocks, both positions. It would be fantastic. Defensive shortstop is great, but if you don't have the bat to complement it, then it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Nicky Lopez, so Correa. There was no way to be, signing Lopez over Correa in free agency. That's for sure. Harper offered to play. Yeah, that would have been nice, Luden. I was bummed out they didn't get Bryce Harper. I really was. Yeah, if they pull off a trade for Brian Reynolds, they don't need Suzuki. So, Hall, always a pleasure, buddy. Enjoy your night, man. I'm going to be wrapping up in a second, too. Sean, night, buddy. Knick fan since, I've been a Knick fan. I'm a Knicks, New York Jets, Yankees all the way. So, DJ's not going anywhere. Neither is Stanton. Yeah. I'm more confident DJ will have a solid year this year, so. DJ was hurt last year, and let's keep that in mind, guys. Healthy DJ is 100 times better than Nicky Lopez, and everybody knows that. And we don't need DJ to hit 315, 330, 350 every year. Seems to be solid across the board, a solid contact hitter, plays solid defense. He's a good veteran. He's a good teammate. You got leadership there, so he has a lot of intangibles aside from what he does on the field. I'm with you too, Hirsch. I think it's going to be Olsen or Reynolds. I don't think it's going to be both, even though they can, and I wish it would be. I just don't think it's going to happen. So, endorsements would have been. Oh God, Harper would have been like a zillion right here. Yep. Until Wednesday too. You can drop DJ. You can. I personally would bat him second if you got Brian Reynolds, but just because of his contact hitting background. Well, yeah, they brought in DJ pretty much. I mean, DJ supplanted at second when they thought Torres was going to be. I mean, Torres, the shortstop, was a bad idea. It really was. But it is what it is at this point now. Yeah, I mean, if you get Reynolds and Gallo can stay in left field. So, yeah. But I like all the opinions, man. I like everybody's like everybody's insights here and feedbacks, man. So I appreciate that whole highlight. It's always a pleasure to do stuff with you. We'll do it again, and you just keep consistent, keep authentic, be accurate, and you're gonna keep growing, buddy. I believe in you, man. So just keep up the good work, man. Keep up the good work. But yeah, Reynolds and Rizzo would be fine too. So, but thank you guys for coming on. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and look out for some more videos. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Over and out. And thank you guys all for the donors and super chats and always your support. Talk to you guys next time.